Okay, we've had a look at how there are two main things that prevent people from engaging in problem solving. One is negative emotion, apprehension, worry about making mistakes, nervousness, anxiety, those things. And number two is a lack of clarity around the task where people just don't know what next step to take, and sometimes they get overwhelmed by the whole task and they just choose to stop. And what we see in the research around problem solving is that lots of people, children and adults, become overwhelmed by the task and they choose to do nothing. They either wait for people to provide more information, or they just stop and don't disengage and decide they won't be able to do it. So what we need to do is we need to support learners to know that they can take one small step towards solving that problem, just one step. And the whole idea of this is that by taking one step, just tiny, towards solving this problem, is you stay engaged in the problem solving process. And what happens is it actually creates a cascade of thoughts in your mind and in your brain. So the idea is if you continue to feed your brain by taking one small step, reading a bit more, thinking a bit more, whatever it is, then that will inform your brain, and your brain will figure something out, and that will lead to the next thought and the next thought and the next thought, and away it goes. So it's almost like an engine, boom, boom, that we want to start. We want to get this thing going. And the way to do that is just to take one small step. And we'll look in the next section at what these one small steps are. They're easy, but the idea is to encourage learners when you're worried, lack of clarity or nervousness, take one small step, and that will get the machine going, the mind going, and you'll work it out. Now, there's something I like to tell learners that I think is interesting, which was in World War II, when the English soldiers were going to war. The English soldiers weren't professional soldiers, right? So you said normal people. And one of the things that they taught the soldiers in the training before they went was this concept that you can always do one more thing. You can always do one more thing. And it was like, okay, so you're wounded, for example, and you're leaning in a trench against the wall. What's one more thing you can do? You might see a piece of dirty ammunition, and so the idea is you clean that bit of ammunition, put it back in the box, or you pick this up and you move it over here. No matter what, there's always one more thing you can do. And of course, when the whole army does this, the whole thing is more successful overall. So I like this idea of there's always one more thing you can do, no matter how small that is, that will increase your chance of solving the problem. So what we're going to do is we're going to equip learners with the skills to find out what that one small step is, and to take that one small step with the hope that that will lead, or the faith almost, that that will lead to a cascade of new ideas.